All right, let's talk travel. Most of us think a vacation kicks off the second we lock the front door, right? But what if I told you that the best part, the real magic, starts way, way before that? We're going to look at how the planning part, the stuff that feels like a chore, is actually one of the most exciting parts of the whole adventure. So, I've got a question for you. What kind of traveler are you? Are you the wing it type? Just land somewhere and let the universe guide you? Or are you a planner, someone who thinks a little prep work is key? It's that classic debate, right? Spontaneity versus planning. And believe me, the answer we're going to uncover is probably not what you're thinking. Okay, let's start with a story. And this one, it's a bit of a cautionary tale. We all have this romantic idea of just showing up in a huge city and winging it, don't we? But that whole approach, well, it can be a trap. And one traveler found that out the hard way in, you guessed it, New York City. So the dream was simple, right? Just land in New York and absorb the energy. Easy. But the reality was a whole different story. It turned into a trip where all the excitement was just overshadowed by the stress of trying to figure everything out on the fly. So, what was the first big roadblock? Well, picture this: your precious vacation time just disappearing while you're staring at a subway map trying to make sense of it all. I mean, instead of wandering through Soho or finding that perfect slice of pizza, hours, literally hours, were just wasted trying to get from one place to another. And that leads to that awful feeling of being constantly lost? Your head is buried in your phone, pulling up maps over and over again. It totally breaks the spell. You're not in the city, you're just navigating it. And that feels more like a chore than the adventure you signed up for. So, let's look at the final score for this trip. Sure, a couple of big sites got checked off the list, but a truly iconic experience like walking across the Brooklyn Bridge? Totally missed, just gone. And the main takeaway feeling wasn't joy, it wasn't discovery, it was just stress. A huge letdown, right? But this whole mess actually sets the stage for a much, much better way to travel. Okay, so if winging it can be such a trap, what's the answer? Well, this is where things get really interesting, because the solution isn't just about dodging stress. It's about literally boosting your happiness. And there's some cool science behind it that might surprise you. Okay, check this out. Scientists have actually studied this, and what they found is kind of mind-blowing. The anticipation, the time you spend looking forward to a trip, can literally bring you more happiness than the trip itself. Let that sink in. It completely reframes what planning is. It's not work, it's basically a happiness extension plan. Here's the cool way to think about it. Planning is like you're pre-living the vacation. Every time you look up a cool restaurant or discover some hidden trail or just imagine yourself there, boom, you get a little hit of happiness. It's like you're stretching a one-week vacation into weeks or even months of enjoyment. All right, so let's see this in action. We're going to flip the script completely. We're leaving the chaos of that New York trip behind and jumping into a super well-planned trip to Yellowstone. You're about to see what a world of difference this makes. So the prep for this trip, it went deep. This wasn't just about booking a place to stay. Oh no, this was about digging in, finding out exactly when the geysers were most likely to erupt, discovering hiking trails that most tourists never even hear about, and pinpointing the absolute best times and spots to see animals. Real insider stuff. And the result of all that homework? This incredible moment. I mean, can you imagine seeing a mama bear and her cubs right there in the wild? And this wasn't an accident. This wasn't just dumb luck. This happened because of the plan, knowing exactly where to be at the right time. It's the kind of magical experience that, honestly, most people who visit the park will never get. And then there was this, the second huge win. Finding a quiet spot, a breathtaking view at the end of one of those hidden trails. It was a moment of total peace, completely away from all the hustle and bustle. That's the real magic, isn't it? The kind of thing that planning unlocks, not luck. So are you feeling pumped to plan your next trip? I hope so, because the good news is this doesn't have to be some big, complicated thing. Let's break down a few super simple, practical tips to make your planning not just easy, but actually fun. Okay, tip number 1. Create a shared document. Seriously, a simple Google Doc is a game changer. You and anyone you're traveling with can just dump all your links, ideas, and reservations in one spot. Super easy. Number 2, theme your days. Think like History Day or Foodie Friday. It sounds a little cheesy, but it makes planning so much simpler and more fun. And number 3, and this one is maybe the most important, Plan for downtime. That's right, schedule in blocks of time with absolutely nothing to do. The best itineraries always leave room for a little bit of that spontaneity we love. So, the big takeaway here is that your trip doesn't start when you get to the airport. It starts right now. It starts the moment you start dreaming and scheming and planning. All that anticipation and research, that's part of the adventure. So, the only question really is, where is your planning going to take you next?